Hello. This video is to help you learn to use the yarns with the pom-poms or the poof balls or whatever you call them, with the bar between the poofs. This is Gnocchi yarn. I fell in love with this the other day at my local yarn store, and I got it home and I went, okay, how do I cast on? So I am going to show you how to cast on because, conveniently enough, the yarn store that I bought that yarn at happened to have a video, but they used the crochet cast on, which I was not happy with because I thought it made the first row too tight, and I like more consistency throughout my work starting at the beginning. So I just wanted to show a quick just a quick little tutorial on how to get this going, because I know that I wasn't happy with the cast on videos on YouTube, so I created my own. So what it is, I left a little tail over here, and what I did was I came through, and what you end up doing is you just do your normal, your normal beginning, and you're just gonna start it the way you normally would with any other yarn, and however you choose to do that is up to you, but you do need to do this short tail. You can't you can't, the long tail doesn't work. It's just these pom-poms get in the way and they snag and you're just gonna end up giving up, so I don't want you to do that. So the way I did this to cast on with the Gnocchi is to actually take it and twist it. Because I know, when you're using you use your thumb for that particular cast on, you just go in like this. Well, you can't do that because the pom-poms get in the way and you get snagged, and the pom-poms get locked in there, and that's not what you want. You want to work in the bar. So this bar right here is your friend. The pom-poms, while cute, are obnoxious when they get in the way. So what you're going to do is just kind of make your loop and turn it backwards. And what I mean by backwards is you're going to take that loop and put it on the needle, and if it's not backwards, it won't lock in place like that. If it's not backwards, what's going to happen is it's just going to sit there. It's not going to, so what you need to do is twist this around so that it goes in here, and that locks it onto your needle. And you can see that creates the perfect space for your pom or your poof or whatever phrase you want to use. So what I was doing is just kind of using my index finger and twisting to cast on. And you just twist the whole thing, and you just want to make sure that you end up with one palm between each one and you don't accidentally hit two, or else it'll make your work a little goofy. These are wide enough that if you do 10 stitches, it's huge. And I'm talking, it's probably close to a foot wide. And I don't like wide scarves. I want long so I can wrap them around 20 times. I like to be able to wrap it around my head, my ears, my neck, all of it. So I actually started out with 16 and ended up taking it apart. And then I ended up starting with 12, and I still didn't like how wide it was, so I ended up going, I think, either with 8 or 10. And each one of these poofs is about an inch wide. And then when you get into the rest of it, the poofs as well as the bar between, you're going to be working with a lot of space there. So when you get your desired number of stitches, you know what, I did have 8. Now I remember because I had 4 and 4. So I'm going to take that one off. And I'm going to knit a couple rows just so you can see how wide this gets. I mean, I'm working on a scarf with it now. Oh, that's the wrong needles. How about a size 6? Now the yarn requires a 6. Do not go wider. If you try to go wider, you're going to get frustrated because the wider you can't move around as much as you want to. You don't have a whole lot of space between the poofs to work. You can do these on 1s, you can do them on 2s. Either way, once you get rid of the needle, it's going to be the same space. That bar between, it's irrelevant, but you don't want to go any bigger than a 6 just because there's no room. So when you knit this, when you get to the end of your row, you see you have that poof. you don't want that to automatically go into the next row, or it's going to make it a little too tight. So what I was doing is I was, going in as if to knit, and then I would hold that poof back here and go into the next bar and knit that way, so that I actually end up with an edge poof all along that side. So I wanted an edge poof. And then you come in here, you're going to go in as if to knit, and hold your poof out of the way and work in the next bar and slide it off. So go in for knitting, grab your poof's back here, move it over out of your way, and knit. And again, you see how the poofs will line up this way. And so you're going to go in for knitting, grab your poof, and knit. So again, stab, grab your poof, and knit. And you're just going to keep doing this all the way around until you get to the end of your row. And you've got your first row, your first 2 rows. And you're just going to do that all the way around. So again, when you get to the end of the row and you turn your work, pull that poof, that first poof of the next row, over to the side so that you can work between that poof and the next bar. And then you'll just keep going across and working between the poofs. You're just going to grab your poof, go across, knit, grab your poof, knit. Oops. So when you go across a few more times, you end up with kind of this neat little pom-pom thing. I'm not quite finished with mine, but I wanted to show you that it kind of does that. One of the tricks that I've done for myself is when I'm running out of yarn in the middle of when I'm running out of yarn, I see how many poofs I have left. And if I don't have 8, which is going to take, well actually 9 if you include the edge poof, you see how the edges kind of edge out. I know the lighting's a little dark, but that's why I put that palm on the edge, just so I actually had the edge poof. Now when I got to the end of the ball of yarn, I actually counted how many I had, and I needed 9 to get to the end of the row. If I didn't have 9, I wouldn't use it. But if I did have 9, what I would do is stick it out at the end and then start my next ball at the same place, and I just kind of tied a knot to hold it in place for now. I'm going to probably tie another knot later and then maybe either weave these in or just leave the knot as is and do a non-slip knot, because I learned that a long time ago. Non-slip knots are great. So, you just kind of do that, and then when you get a little further down and you get to the next ball, again, this is 8 stitches. This is 8, only 8, and you can see how wide it is, I hope. Oh, the sun came out. Now you could actually see the colors. Let me turn the light on. So, this one's the gray, brown, almost black, and purple one. Now, I have big hands. I actually have very large hands with a 7-inch wrist for a woman. And for 8 stitches, you can see that it goes the entire length of my hand. So 8 stitches is probably about 8 inches wide. I have some 7-inch needles right here to give you, so 7-inch double points don't quite go to the edge. So again, 8 stitches depending on your preferred width. If you don't want to take it apart 100 times, I think that 8 stitches is well. It works out pretty well. And then the reason I show you that other cast on is because it makes it just as stretchy at the base as it does the rest of it. So that crochet cast on, while pretty, you're not going to notice pretty on this yarn. And so I ended up just kind of doing my own thing, and that's what I found out that worked best for me. And again, when you change yarns, I'm doing it on circulars because where I work I have to put it down quickly. So, just a quick little drop it, and it doesn't come off the needle very often. So you can see here's another one of my joins in my yarn. And that's how I ended up doing it. I didn't have 9 poofs, so I had a few extras, so they're sticking out over here. I'll clean that up later. But the other interesting thing is every once in a while, if you pull the yarn too tight, you'll end up with one of these poofs on the back side. Oh, here's one. So do you see how there's a poof that's going vertical instead of horizontal? All you want to do is figure out what side it's missing from. So I can tell that it's missing from this front side right here because I've got one in the back right there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pull this through, and then it lines up horizontally there. Because all it did was get stuck in up here because I just pulled it too tight. Because I can put it back just like that, but you know, I don't want that. I want the symmetry. So what I did was I just pulled it through and just kind of made it more even. And now it's back to where it needs to be.